Hello and welcome back. This will be my last YouTube video with you guys because we have the beautiful Angie joining the team and I will be taking a step back. I'm very excited for you all to see what Angie has in the works, but I wanted to do a very last video for you guys. And to set us off, I have decided to do a Resi letter template, as these were actually designed by me, and so I thought it was only fitting to finish out with something that I've created and can share with you all. These templates are available at resiart.com.au. I'll pop the links in the below, and let's just get started. Okay, so before we mix up, let's go over what I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to start with my Resi Clear 2:1 mixing ratio resin. I also have some colors that I've picked out here. You can do this any way you like, and I think this is going to be a little bit different. Let's see how it goes. And I have everything I need to mix, measure, pour, and protect my hands with my gloves, as I always say in every video. So we've got some pipettes, some stirrers, some little cups to divide in, and my mixing ratio cup. Of course, I also have my template ready to fill. So let's mix up. If you've watched a few of my videos and you already know how to do this, skip forward past this part and we'll just get into the making. Gloves first. Part A first. Let's go. So I'm just going to find on my cup where my 2:1 mixing ratio section is. So 2 with the dots and then the 1, and I'm going to go into my 2 column and I'm just going to fill up to my first line 1. Let's just pour. Now you'll notice I've turned my bottle sideways. This just helps with the glugging and the flow as I'm pouring. Perfect. Whoops, nearly knocked it over. That would have been great YouTube content. All right, and now for my part B. This just goes on top to the second 1 line. Perfect. Anyone, I think I've done that before. All right, so now the next really important thing is that I mix this for 4 to 5 minutes, scraping down the sides and touching the bottom. The time frame is important to make sure that it's all mixed in together. When you're mixing in smaller batches, it's harder to see the lines that are formed in the resin. So I always like to go by time rather than just looking at my mix. Also, if you're new to this, it's a great way to just know that you've mixed it 100%. If you don't take this step, you may end up with those uncured parts of resin. So you might have some sticky uncured resin in amongst your project. There's no way to fix this. So just take your time now and you'll have the best project ever. Okay, so our resin's all mixed together and we're going to divide it into our little cups for our H. So I'm only doing 3 colors, so I'm only going to do 3 little cups. Whoops, these are not so easy to pull apart, yay. All right, especially not with gloves. All right, let's just divide that over 3. Now one of them will be smaller than the others for the little centers of the flowers. You don't need as much. And then the next one will be a little bit more, but still not as much. And then the last one, being your background, will have a lot more resin in there. So just kind of dividing it over the 3 cups. Now you can do this any way you want, any color combination. If you want 10 colors, go for it. If you want all the petals to be different colors, go for it. There's no right or wrong way. It is art, okay? All right, let's put this aside or actually, let's add our colors. Okay, so our background is going to be this silver. Now I'm not going to put as much glitter for the first time, not more. I'm actually going to do it so it's a little dusting of glitter in the background. Now this depends on your preference. If you want it like a solid color, put a lot more glitter, but if you just want it to be like a shimmery background with maybe a little bit of clear in there, a little bit's a good way to go. So this is just a little bit, but again, whatever works for you. So when you look at your stick, that's kind of the effect that I'm going for in my background. See how there's like clear as well? That's my background color. Then I'm going to do my flower color. And it's going to be this lavender luster. It makes me think of Ursula from The Little Mermaid. That's what it gives me. Maybe that's what I should have called it. Don't come at me, Disney, I didn't do it. Okay, you might be going, Chrissy, you're overdoing it with glitter. I'm not, trust me. So I want a lot of glitter because it's chunkier glitter. I want a lot in there, and what my desired effect that I want is when I look at my stick, I don't really want to see clear resin, I just want to see glitter. Then I know I've got the right amount in there and I'm not going to end up with like patchiness or anything like that. I'm actually going to put a little bit more. Okay, we are good. Now just be mindful as it sits. I didn't wait for my resin to warm up, so as it sits, the glitter might drop a little bit, so always give it a stir before you go to put it into your template. All right, that's my flower color, and then we have the citrus yellow that we're going to do in the centers. Very contrast, very different, but we're just going with it and seeing how it goes. And again, with fine glitter, it's important that you put a lot in. If you don't put enough, it will look very patchy and uneven, and that is not something that you want. Best way to know if you've got enough is, again, looking at your stick to make sure that it's solid. Okay, and that's our yellow, good to go. Okay, 3 colors sorted. Now let's bring in our H. Bit of ASMR for you there. Okay, so this is our H that we're going to fill up, and it really is a very simple process. Now there's a few different ways you can do this. You can use your pipettes in order to fill it. You can pour it yourself, or you can use the little sticks to drop them in. I'm going to show you all 3 ways that I would do it. Let's just get into it. I'm going to start inside out, so I'm going to start with my centers of my flowers. So if I wanted to use my paddle pop stick, I would just kind of drizzle it like so. This is a slower process for bigger sections, so it's not my preferred method. So you can do it that way, or we have our pipette. I keep calling them pipettes, they're pipettes. So if you're using a pipette, something to note is make sure you squeeze it before you get anywhere near the resin. Pop it into your resin and then slowly let go, and it will fill up your pipette. Just be patient with this, because if you rush this part, you might get a bit of air in there, and that's not fun, and it can get messy. So, all right, now that bit's filled up, I'll just squeeze that in. Now, a very important note when it comes to filling templates is to not stress too much about getting into the sides, just really fill the centers and let it fill out. You don't want to overfill your template at all. If you have too much resin in there, it will make it really hard to peel back the paper film later. Okay, another way that you can do it is you can just pour directly in. Now with this method, I prefer it because it's a little bit quicker, but do take your time not to rush this process, because you will find that it's easier to get to that full stage. So see how I've just filled in the middle and allowed it to spread out to the edges? I haven't tried to overfill. So slow and steady and just a little bit at a time. Fill in the middle I'm going to leave this one like this to show you that it's just going to fill out and move on to the next one. And I can come back to that and add a little bit more if I need to, but I'm better off coming back if I need to rather than overfilling. Okay, we're going to come back to this because I think it could use just a littlest more. A little bit in there. And a little bit in there, and our centers are done. So I actually allocated probably a little bit too much resin to that, but that's okay. A good tip if you're doing this is have like some little earring or keychain molds set aside. So anything you have left over, just chuck it into those rather than wasting the leftover resin. Okay, our flower color is our purpley color. So let's go in with this one. Now, this is a chunky glitter, so if you want to use the pipette here, a handy tip is if you try and use it the way that it is, the chunky glitter will get caught up in it and probably won't fill, or definitely won't fill through there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to trim off the top, like so. And I'm just going to use that the same way, but now it will work a lot better. So that is a great handy tip. And now I'm just going to fill in my petals. Again, you can do this any of the 3 methods. Whatever you feel most comfortable with is a good way to go. I'm actually going to move this out. Again, slow and steady. Actually, now I'm not going to take credit for this. Angie actually selected these colours. She said, do something a little bit contrast, and can I just say I actually like it. What do you guys think? Make sure you let me know in the comments. Let's let Angie know if this was a good choice or not. All right, now time for the background. Now remember I said my glitter would settle a little bit, especially because I didn't put a lot in this one. I'm just going to stir it before I lay it down because I've only used a little bit. So this will give you, I always put down a lot, so this will give you a nice idea of what it's like if it's kind of more like a shimmery background. Now with the background, I'm just going to pour it in, but you can pipe it if you want to. It's completely up to you, but I'm just going to pour. But watch what I do, because I'm just going to pour a little bit here and let it kind of flow and come down here, and I'm just going to keep adding little bits at a time and let it kind of fill up because I don't want to rush this process. As I rush down there. Okay. Don't stress too much about getting in the corners. Just keep topping up in some of the areas as it flows, and it will make its way to the corners. What do we think? I like it that it's not so solid. It's a little nice, subtle background. I'm just gonna, it's not a problem, but I'm just gonna take that off. That little drop. Now you could start with the background first, fill it and let it kind of flow out. I'm just trying to rush up the process a little bit because the video will go for too long otherwise. But that is it. My template is full. and looking great. Now, just a side note, the paper film that is on it currently actually pulls away and reveals, it will look a little bit different once the paper film comes away, because there's a paper film on the back as well, just to protect the back also. So it's actually got a clear background. So once we pull it all off, it'll look completely different. Let's leave this one to set overnight. But as always, I have another one here ready to show you how to take off your paper film. So let's do this together. Okay, so let's reveal what it looks like once the paper film comes off. So I'll start with the back. I just am going to use a set of tweezers. You don't have to use tweezers. You could just get the edge of something and put some pressure on it to help. Or you can kind of just get a bit of an edge to grab. These are not my favorite tweezers, but they'll do the job. All right, so once I've got an edge, I'm just going to pull it back. And that is my back side with the clear. And now let's do the front. Same thing, this is a little bit more tricky because it's got the design, but let's just get an edge. All right, so now that I've got an edge, I'm just going to pull it away. Now you don't have to do this in all one piece. You can pull it bit by bit. It will be tricky otherwise. And just pull away the paper. The paper just stops any resin from being on the frame and gives you that crisp finish without needing to go in and do anything else. Okay. Every part of me wants to pull it off as one piece, but that never happens. It's a little bit tedious, but it is very important because it just gives you the perfect finish. Last little bits. Okay, and there we have it. So now that the paper film is off, this is your finished piece. It is double-sided, and I think they look amazing. Now, if you want to give this a go yourself and you've never worked with resin before, we have an amazing starter kit that you can get with the coaster version, and I even have a video from earlier on that shows you how to make the coasters. They're in cherries and daisies, and then you could get yourself some extra letters. Now, our letters come in large size, and they also come in a little baby size as well. So you can spell something out or just have your little capital to put on your door or anything like that. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you like and subscribe, and remember, whilst you won't be seeing me anymore, you'll get to see the beautiful Ange, and she has so much to share with you all. She's been working with resin for so many years, and I'm sure she's going to pick up and take off with the next lot of videos. So enjoy, and thank you all for subscribing and supporting me. Thanks, bye.